She walked into the cafe with trembling hands, knowing the truth she carried would shatter everything. But some secrets are too heavy to keep buried, even on a first date. Maya had rehearsed this moment 1,000 times. Standing in front of her bathroom mirror at 6 a.m., she'd practiced the words until they felt smooth on her tongue. But now, sitting across from Daniel in this cozy Boston cafe, with afternoon sunlight streaming through the windows and the scent of fresh coffee wrapping around them like a warm blanket, every practiced syllable had abandoned her. "You okay?" Daniel asked, his brown eyes crinkling with concern. "You seem a million miles away." She forced a smile, the kind she'd perfected over the past 2 years, the smile that said everything was fine when nothing was. "Just nervous, I guess. First blind date and all." He laughed, a genuine sound that made her chest ache. "Me too. My sister basically threatened to disown me if I didn't show up. She's been going on about this amazing woman from her book club for weeks." Maya's stomach twisted. Sarah. Sweet, unsuspecting Sarah, who thought she was doing something wonderful by setting up her lonely brother with her new friend. Sarah, who had no idea who Maya really was. "Sarah's great," Maya said softly, wrapping her hands around her untouched latte. "She's been really kind to me." "That's Sarah. She collects strays." Daniel grinned, then quickly added, "Not that you're a stray. I just mean she has this way of making everyone feel like family. When our mom died 3 years ago, Sarah basically became the glue holding everyone together." The words hit Maya like a physical blow. She knew about Daniel's mother. She knew far more than she should. "I'm sorry about your mom," she whispered. "Thanks." He cleared his throat, steering away from the sadness. "So, Sarah tells me you're an art therapist. That must be really rewarding." "I work with kids mostly. Kids who've been through trauma." Maya's voice steadied as she talked about her work, the one true thing in this web of half-truths. "I help them express what they can't put into words. Sometimes a drawing says everything." Daniel leaned forward, genuinely interested. "That's beautiful. I'm just a boring accountant by comparison." "Numbers tell stories too," Maya said. "Just different ones." They talked for an hour, and with every passing minute, Maya felt herself sinking deeper into quicksand. Daniel was everything Sarah had promised: kind, funny, thoughtful. He talked about his volunteer work at the youth center, how he'd learned to cook after his mom died so he could make Sunday dinners for his dad, how he still cried during sappy commercials. He was exactly the kind of man who deserved the truth. "Daniel," Maya finally said, interrupting his story about his nephew's disastrous science fair project. "There's something I need to tell you." His smile faded slightly. "Okay. I'm not who you think I am." The words tumbled out before she could stop them. "I mean, I am Maya, and I am an art therapist, but there's more. Something Sarah doesn't know. Something I should have told her before she set this up." Daniel's expression shifted from confusion to concern. "Are you married?" Because Sarah specifically asked. "No, nothing like that." Maya took a shaky breath. 2 years ago, I was driving home from work. It was raining, and the roads were slick. I was tired, distracted. I looked down at my phone for just a second. Her voice cracked. "Just 1 second." Daniel had gone very still. "There was a woman crossing the street. I didn't see her until it was too late. I slammed on the brakes, but..." Maya's eyes filled with tears she'd been holding back. "She died 3 days later in the hospital. Her name was Patricia Donovan." She watched the color drain from Daniel's face as the pieces clicked into place. "Patricia Donovan. His mother. You." The word came out as barely a whisper. "I served 18 months. Vehicular manslaughter." Maya's hands were shaking so badly her latte nearly spilled. "I got out 8 months ago. The therapist at the prison suggested I continue my art therapy work as part of my rehabilitation. That's how I met Sarah, at a grief support group for people who'd lost family members in accidents. I went there to face what I'd done, to understand the pain I'd caused." Daniel stood up so abruptly his chair scraped against the floor. Other customers glanced their way. "You've been in a grief group with my sister." His voice was tight, controlled. "You sat there, listening to her talk about losing our mother, knowing you were the reason. I know how it sounds. Do you?" Daniel's hands clenched into fists. "Do you have any idea what you took from us?" She was 56 years old. She was supposed to meet her grandchildren. She was supposed to dance at Sarah's wedding next year. Maya stood too, tears streaming down her face. I know. I think about it every single day. There's not a morning I wake up without seeing her face. I know I can never make this right. I know I'm the worst kind of person for even being here, for letting Sarah befriend me without knowing. But I couldn't keep lying. Not to you. So what? Daniel's voice broke. You thought you'd confess and feel better. Clear your conscience while I'm sitting here on what was supposed to be a nice date, finding out I'm having coffee with the woman who killed my mother. No. Maya shook her head. I don't expect to feel better. I expect you to hate me. You should hate me. But Sarah kept talking about you, about how lonely you were, how much you'd been struggling, and when she suggested we meet, I knew I couldn't do it without telling you the truth. Even if it destroys everything. Even if it means Sarah never speaks to me again. You deserved to know. Daniel stared at her, his jaw working, emotions warring across his face. The cafe had gone quiet around them. I don't know what to say to you, he finally said. You don't have to say anything. I'll explain everything to Sarah. I'll tell her why this can never happen, why we can't even be in the same room. I just needed you to hear it from me first. Maya grabbed her coat with trembling hands. I'm so sorry, Daniel. I'm so incredibly sorry. She made it halfway to the door before his voice stopped her. Maya, wait. She turned. Daniel was still standing by the table, and his expression had shifted into something she couldn't quite read. My mom, he said slowly, used to volunteer at the women's prison. Did you know that? Maya's breath caught. No. She believed in second chances. She believed people could change, could grow from their worst moments. Daniel walked toward her. The morning she died, she told me at breakfast that she'd met this young woman at the prison who was doing incredible work with the other inmates, teaching them art therapy. She said this woman was going to do beautiful things when she got out. Maya's legs nearly gave out. That was me. I don't know. Maybe. Daniel's eyes were wet now too. But I think she'd want me to at least try to see you the way she saw people. Not as their worst moment, but as their whole story. Daniel, you don't have to. I'm not saying we're going to date. I'm not saying I forgive you or that everything's okay. I'm so angry right now I can barely think straight. He wiped his eyes roughly. But you came here knowing what would happen. You told me the truth when you could have just disappeared. That takes a kind of courage I wasn't expecting. Maya couldn't speak through her tears. Go home, Daniel said gently. Talk to Sarah. Tell her everything. And then maybe, someday, when it doesn't hurt quite so much, we can try to figure out what healing actually looks like. Not for a date. Not for romance. But because my mom would have wanted me to at least try. Maya nodded, unable to find words big enough for this moment. As she walked out into the fading afternoon light, she felt the weight she'd carried for 2 years shift slightly. It hadn't disappeared, it never would. But for the first time since that rainy night, she felt something she'd thought was lost forever. The possibility of redemption, not through forgetting or being forgiven, but through the hard, honest work of facing the truth. Behind her, through the cafe window, she could see Daniel sitting back down, his head in his hands. The road ahead would be long and painful for both of them. But sometimes the most human thing we can do is acknowledge the hurt, speak the truth, and choose, against all odds, to believe in the possibility of grace.